Welcome back, YouTube. This is Ram55 coming back at you with my next episode of Silent Hunter 4. The crew of the SS-38 with skipper Steve Underwood has just successfully sank their first ship. You can see that this is our area of patrol. We're in the Celebes Sea. We just recently sank the ship right here, and we don't have any specific orders how long to be on station or how close to stay to that mark. We just did see this ship heading more or less to the northeast. So assuming that perhaps they're coming out of this gap here and heading up this way, we're going to continue to patrol over in this area. And there you have it, January 1st, 1942. A beautiful New Year's evening on patrol with about 62 sailors and men on board the SS-38. Almost a full moon, it looks like. Yeah, looks like some of it's gone, so. Calm seas, nothing to report, and I'll be back with you later when something pops up. Well, I'm coming back to report that we have fulfilled our requirements for patrolling the zone that we were assigned. It did not give me any follow-on orders, however. It just said we're done. We got a check mark. See if I can bring that up. See, completed the patrol of the Celebes Sea. Continue with your current objective, maintain radio silence. There's no new patrol zones assigned, so when I zoom out, I don't see any other stars on the map. So basically what I'm doing is making up my own patrol. We still have plenty of fuel. We got torpedoes on board. So we're going to leave the Celebes Sea. We're going to go up this passage here out into the Sulu Sea and then further out into the South China Sea. Now you can tell from these boxes here that there has been some sightings out this way previously that obviously were not in our patrol zone. So by just taking ourselves out there, maybe we'll get into some action with some convoys and task forces going north and south up the South China Sea from Japan. Now remember, this is the area rich in resources, so they're taking these resources and bringing them back to Japan, and I would think this would be one of the main highways. The Japanese recently took over Manila, so they will probably be resupplying as well as fortifying their possessions there. We are no longer in possession of the port in Manila. You can see we've lost that. And we're going to hope to have some good hunting out in this area. So I will be back when I have something else to report. Okay, so we have just reported a contact, and we did spot it before we dove. It was just to the north of our position, marked it right here. We're trying to get it now on the periscope. So let's go back outside. I've got the periscope raised. We're on our way up to our new patrol area, self-designated. And I think that's the ship there. Can just barely, and I'm sure on YouTube you probably can't see it at all, see the silhouette. And these waves are making it very difficult. So let me just raise up to 40-foot depth, get the periscope up a little bit. I don't think we're going to be seen this time of the evening. That one's got possibilities. Hog Island type freighter. And even though I can't see it real well in the dark, I'm pretty sure that's what it is. So there he is right there. Bearing about 045. Nobody else showing up on sonar, just that one contact. About 70 degrees off of our starboard side, still not showing up. Let's surface the boat.
Surface, surface, surface.
Let's steer a little bit south of east. Once we get ahead of them, then we'll set up a intercept course and dive the boat. And let's go ahead and take it back down to periscope depth, see if we can get a sonar contact on him, figure out where he's at. So we're heading about east. He's still up in front of us.
Yes, sir.
So let's go back and surface the boat again.
Yes, sir. Surface, surface.
Okay, so now we have a visual contact on him. Let's go ahead and mark that spot. Actually, now we can figure out his speed. Let's mark that spot again. Let's bring up our stopwatch. And we'll count 3 minutes. One minute. 2 minutes. 3 minutes. We'll mark his spot again. And the distance in yards that he has traveled in 3 minutes is equal to his speed in knots. So I'm going to guess probably about 7. So let's zoom in. We can get a fairly accurate reading on that. It's actually, yeah, right around 7, 7.5. And let's get a relative heading for him. This will be approximate, and we'll get that more accurate as we go along. So his heading is 098. So let's make our...
Yes, sir. New course, 8. Yes, sir.
Heading 008. Let's take it down.
Yes, sir. Periscope depth.
To periscope depth.
Dive, dive.
There he is. Let's stop that clock from ticking. So we know his angle on the bow approximately. We know his speed because we measured that on the map at about 7 knots, 7.5 knots. Range is about 5,300. That's just a complete guess. We're coming around to our attack heading. Once we do that, we'll know we'll be 90 degrees off of his intercept.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to slow down to 1.
Yes, sir.
Third. I keep hitting the L button to keep him locked up in the periscope because he keeps breaking the lock. I don't know if you can see that on YouTube or not, but kind of frustrating.
Yes, sir.
Let's take it back down to
Periscope
periscope depth now.
Yes,
I
sir.
think we got a pretty good lock on him.
Dive, dive.
I'm going to go to battle stations. And I think we're actually in a pretty good position right now for this attack. Let's get another view of the ship here. Let's take a look at his 3/4 profile. I am going to say that that is him. Really hard to see in the dark, but the bridge looks about right. The structure aft of the stack looks about right. So I am pretty convinced that's what we've got here. Now I'm having a little bit of second thoughts about whether or not this is the right ship. And there's a lot of similarities, but what I don't see are these davits coming off the front. Again, I don't see those davits either. Definitely not that. Not that. Not that. Could be that. Let's take a look. Put that scope back up a little bit higher. I think these masts look a little bit better. I do see these little vent things above the engine compartment. I do see some stuff here, so let's say that it is that. So let's get another range on him now that I've changed the type of ship that he is. And according to this, he's now 5,800 yards away, so that made a big difference. But based on the fact that I don't see those davits out at an angle going this way, I just see a simple mast like that with a little triangle area right here. The bridge looks good. This area here looks good. The lifeboats, can't really make them out real well, but there is some structure there. Single mast in the back. Again with a little triangle, and he does have these little cutout areas fore and aft. So this is a medium old split freighter, so I'm going to say I am pretty happy with that identification. Again, new to this, so I haven't seen all the Japanese ships, and I can certainly make errors. That's not uncommon for me, so ship identification makes a big difference. And again, that changed the range pretty dramatically. So let's get another range on him. Now in a daylight attack, I don't think I'd want to be leaving the periscope up as long as I am now, just because the chance of being detected and have them going into evasive maneuvers or attracting some fire would be pretty significant. These merchantmen were armed, but here at night I think the chances of them seeing this small periscope dragging through the water is worth the risk of just keeping him in sight. if you add up all the angles in a triangle, you get 180 degrees. We know that the intercept is at 90 degrees, where our course will intercept his course. So that leaves another 90 degrees to figure out where they are. And if I know that my angle to his boat is 35 degrees, well, we have to come up with the missing 90 degrees. So 90 minus 35 will tell me the angle from his ship to mine. So 90 minus 35 is 55. So his angle on the bow now is 55 degrees, and that's what we've got set in right here. So the total three angles summed together on a triangle equals 180. So that's my way of calculating the angle on the bow. We calculated speed on the map using the 3-minute rule. We marked his position on the map, timed for 3 minutes, measured how many yards he went in that 3 minutes, and that tells us his speed in knots. And that's what I'm using for the target data computer. And then we're using the old-fashioned method of doing his range, using this device right here, putting the bottom of his water line right on the top of his mast. That tells us the height. And he is now down to 2,900 yards. So I'm actually going to go down to a head slow. He is now about 30 degrees off to the left, so another 10 degrees or so, and we will fire our torpedoes. Again, the graphics on this game are pretty darn cool. Up close, these vessels don't have a lot of detail, but from the distance that we shoot them from, they look pretty cool. They look rusted. They look like there's a lot of detail on them. I like the way they simulate the bow, throwing up a big bow wave as they go in and out of the swells out here on the ocean. They've done a really good job of designing this game. Pretty cool game. Now at night, he should probably not be able to see our torpedo wakes or air bubbles. These are steam torpedoes, so they do leave a bubble trail as they go through the water. During the day they can be seen, but from what I understand, reading reports of actual torpedo attacks, the speed of the torpedoes and the maneuverability of the ships means that by the time they saw them, they really couldn't do much about it. You know, these movies always show, there's a torpedo coming, hard port, hard starboard, whatever, and they just barely miss the torpedo attack. In reality, from what I've read, that really didn't happen. By the time they saw the torpedoes, it was really too late for them to take any evasive maneuvers. .340 degrees bearing, 20 degrees to our left. Again, we've got tube 1 selected.
Firing tube 1.
Fire 1. Selecting tube 2. We're going to go a couple degrees to the left.
Firing tube 3.
And
torpedo in the water.
Fire tube 3. And now let's just wait and see what happens.
Torpedo in the water.
Now on the stopwatch I get this red line here, this red mark, and I assume that means time to impact, but I'm not sure how to interpret that just yet. Let's put our periscope all the way up.
Torpedo impact.
All right, we got one hit right about where we were aiming. And something tells me we missed with one of them. So we had one hit. Whether or not that's going to be enough. He is starting to settle by the bow. We're still chasing after him, but he is definitely, I think, going to go down. His engines are still running. He's still producing thrust. He's still moving through the water. He's also taking evasive maneuvers, but his front deck is now awash. So we'll follow him for a little bit longer, but I think he's going down. So he is now dead in the water. He is going down fairly quick by the bow. You can see the lifeboat way out here in the distance. There she goes. As she's breaking up.
Yes, sir.
Surface, surface, surface.
Our second successful attack on this patrol. 2 enemy ships sighted, 2 enemy ships sunk. Can't complain about that. About a 50% success rate, as I mentioned, with our torpedoes. And we're going to go ahead and end this episode here as we return to our patrol zone with our second kill of the patrol in our proud old S-boat. So you guys have a good day. Thanks for watching, and we'll be back with you later.